Hey guys, welcome to episode 8. I talk with Mentesh Tumburi on his journey leaving everything in the UK to start a new life in Australia. We talk about mindset and steps to become successful and how to keep on track, the mental strength it takes to keep going and more. Enjoy. Hello. Can you hear me? I can't see you, mate. Hello. You're on mute. Let's check that. I was about to say, wagwan, but should I say good day, mate?
Good day, mate. How's it going? You might hear a bit of an Australian twang in my voice now, bro.
I'll let you know when I hear it. I can't hear it right
everyone,
now, but
everyone says it to me. They go, I can hear an Australian twang in your voice. So,
wow.
Yeah, I thought I'd just put it out there. But you still sound like a Brummy boy.
Even though I was born in London, for all those don't know, but
I didn't actually know that.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I was born in Lewisham, and I was in London for about a year or two, and then moved straight to Birmingham.
Oh wow.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? And then I was living with Manuel until I was like 2, I think. I mean, I don't know for how long actually. So we had our own flat for a year or so, and then was living with him for a while. Don't know how long, and then we moved to Birmingham. So yeah, man.
Yeah, I still remember going around all them years ago.
I know, man. You're teaching me a thing or two about picking up women.
That was the first time. Didn't we go watch Lord of the Rings?
Did we?
I don't know. I think we did, or me and Manuel did. It was in Birmingham, but yeah, I do remember those days. And then I didn't see you for years, and then I see you, and then you're just a supermodel getting these fantastic haircuts. To be honest with you, speaking of haircuts, I've realised a lot of the Brummy boys are bloody good, you know.
Really?
Some of the best in the world are from Birmingham, you know that?
No way.
I swear to God.
Hold on to that thought. We'll get into that.
All right.
Cool. So I've already started recording, yeah? So if you just let the listeners know who you are and what's your life story so far.
All right. So my name's Mentesh Tumburi. I'm 37 years old. I was born in the UK. I came to Australia when I was 29. I've been here for about 7 years. I'm a barber. I've been cutting hair for about 11 years. I started in 2011. So depending on when you're watching this, right now it's 2023. So yeah, probably even 12 years actually from scratch. Yeah. So yeah, and I made the switch after 4 years of cutting, and I've been here since. I've met someone. We've got 2 kids, and we've got a home together, and I'm here at the moment building a business from my house actually.
Amazing. Yeah, I did think that, but I wasn't too sure. Like, it looks like your garage has been converted into a barbershop.
Yeah. So what? You look at that setup, and it doesn't look like much. And that's what I thought when I first went there. And I was cutting this guy's hair, and he said to me, "Don't underestimate these 4 walls." And I said, "You know what? You're right." And I just carried on. And I can tell you I work 5 days a week from Tuesday to Friday. I'm maxed out, and I'm turning people away now.
Wow. That's amazing, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And I always wanted like a nice salon, a nice fit out. That's always been my thing, to have something that looks nice, like a proper brand as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, since being here, I've realized people care more about the barber than they do the shop.
It's true. It's the quality that matters, isn't it?
Yeah, they're there for a good haircut, consistency, and a good chat.
That's it. Yeah, a good service is always it takes you a long way. What made you go to Australia? Like, why not anywhere else?
Honestly, I couldn't sleep one night, and it was between Australia and Canada. And the reason why that thought came in my mind when I couldn't sleep is because when I cut hair, I speak to a lot of clients all the time.
Yeah.
And I had one in particular telling me to go to Australia because there's lots of opportunity out there and the weather's good. So even though he told me that, I didn't just take off and go straight away. I carried on working, and it sort of just sat with me, but I didn't really act on it. And then I think probably 2 years later, I started thinking about it, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go. And I thought I could go Canada, or I could go to Australia. And I thought, you know what, Australia, because the weather's better. Yeah. and I went online and I basically tried to find out how I could get myself over here and to start working and traveling. And when I went on Google, a holiday working visa came up.
Oh yeah.
And then from there, I thought, all right, that's what I'm going to go for. So I literally booked it that same night. And then I booked my tickets a week later. And then I think I was due to take off in about 4 months after that. So it happened quite quickly.
Wow. So
Yeah.
okay, so you picked Australia just purely based on the weather, is that correct?
The weather was a major factor. But when I came to Australia, I came to Melbourne and I thought, yeah, I'll be in Melbourne. But when I got to Melbourne, as much as I love the city of Melbourne,
Mhm.
it was too much like London. And I thought I didn't come all the way on the other side of the world to have the same experience because it's all city vibes.
Right. Interesting.
So after the first 2 weeks, I just got a plane and went up to Sydney. And then when I landed in Sydney, I said to myself, right, I'm home now. So
Really?
yeah,
Okay. So what's the difference between
Sydney.
Sydney? I know, so city and then Sydney's what? More of like a country vibe, countryside
So
vibe or
you
what?
know, like Birmingham and London, there's city, no beaches, right?
Yeah.
And you've got like all these different shopping malls. Oh, you don't
Mhm.
call them shopping malls, you call them shopping centres.
Yeah.
Whereas Melbourne's like that, hasn't really got any beaches. It's got some, but the good ones are far away. Whereas if you come to Sydney, they've got some of the best beaches in the world, and they've got a city as well.
Wow.
Does that make sense? So it's a
Yeah,
bit
yeah,
like your
yeah, yeah.
Barcelona. I think Barcelona's like that as well. It's got a city and it's got the beaches.
But I just came back from Bournemouth a week ago. Isn't that similar to that then? Because they've got a city centre and then literally down the road's
Yeah,
the beach.
yeah, you could say that. Yeah, but I actually haven't been to Bournemouth. What was you doing there? Did you go watch the football?
Nah, mate, you know when you get kids in it, you gotta you
Yeah,
gotta make sure you have family time as well. So we
yeah,
rented
that's
out Airbnb and yeah, we just stayed there for a couple of nights. You know, with Bournemouth, like Bournemouth Beach, you can't go wrong. Bournemouth and Cornwall, you
nah,
can't go wrong.
yeah. Cornwall's my favorite. Hey,
I haven't been yet, and that's what it's on my bucket
uh,
list. I really wanted to go this year, but it's like from Birmingham to Cornwall with
mm,
summer traffic, it's like 8 hour drive.
yeah, it's a big drive, but when you get there, it's just so beautiful, and the ice
Mm.
cream's unreal.
Is it?
There's two things you get in Cornwall. It's an ice cream and it's a Cornish pasty.
Mm.
Yeah.
So
You
what?
won't regret it.
So what was like? So how old were you when you decided to go to Australia then? Like what year was that?
2016, I decided, and
And that
it
was after
was
4 years after doing the barber
to
stuff.
be to be fair, I decided it at the it was 2015 when I decided to go.
Mm.
Towards the end, I think it was like October. It was either September or October, and then I decided to, yeah, I booked it all that night. I couldn't sleep, and
Wow.
then I left in February the 14th. I remember it was Valentine's Day. I left 2016,
Mm.
and I went to Thailand for 2 weeks and stayed out there. And from there, yeah, I went to Australia and then landed in Melbourne, stayed there for 2 weeks, changed my mind about Melbourne, and then went to Sydney. And
Oh,
since
so
then, I've been here. And yeah, my first job was it was in a store called Culture Kings.
okay, what as a sales assistant or something or?
Nah, I came in as a barber, but it's like Culture Kings is like this is how I explain it to people.
Yeah.
So it's like your JD Sports with
Yeah.
a live DJ
Wow.
and a barber section.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, very different. An Australian couple founded that company, and it's just blown up. And they've just hit Las Vegas as well. Actually, they're huge now. Yeah, but that was my first job. That was a great experience, and it was loud music all day as well, which can be a bit overwhelming. But I loved it. It was
Yeah.
good.
So it's like
Yeah, I got to
being in
meet
a
lots
club
of
and cutting
people.
people's hairs at the same time.
Yeah, it was that kind of vibe, and they attract a lot of celebrities there as well
Interesting.
because those celebrities that create their brands end up selling their brands in that store, so they come and do promo work as well.
Oh,
And then those celebrities that come in
yeah.
obviously attract people to go to their stores. So it was just, yeah, it was crazy. It was so good. It was a big learning experience.
What did you learn there? Would you say what was the three main things that you learned from being there?
Honestly, I liked the whole idea about how they market and branded the business. So you see how I just explained to you about how they were selling celebrity merchandise and then having those celebrities coming in and then promoting those celebrities, and then they had a queue of people coming down to meet those celebrities and then to sell the merch as well.
Yeah.
So that taught me that when I potentially own my business, like I've got a barbershop, but it's got to be like there was more than just getting a haircut, it was also buying an outfit. Does that make sense? So that
Yeah.
showed me that you don't have to be you don't have to think one way. You can sort of open your mind and make it more of an experience for your clients. And that's something still to this day I'm actually working on. I haven't really figured out where I'm going yet.
Mm-hmm.
But as for the barbershop in the garage, we've started this 2021 and we've been building it to a point where we're maxed out, and I'm at a point now where I'm ready to hire someone just to get it to grow and take on clients that I can't take on. And as we keep growing, it sort of helps me to navigate where I'm taking the business as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, mate, that makes total sense. And
Yeah.
your clients, I've seen some of your clients on your Instagram page. You get basketball players, and I've noticed James Smith PT follows you as well.
Oh yeah, James Smith. Yeah, he comes in. He's actually a weekly. He just moved to Australia. There's quite a lot of people that know him. Even a lot of the Australians know him. They all love him as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we get some basketball players in here as well. We've got a local basketball team here in Wollongong, the Illawarra Hawks. So I've had some of the players come in. I've actually got some of the so over here it's called NRL, which is
means
the National Rugby League, which is the biggest sport in New South Wales and Queensland. So I've got some of the footballers from the local team that are in that league. So essentially, it's like in England, the Premier League. You're just doing some of the Premier League players here. Does that make sense?
yeah. Wow, that's big then, isn't it?
Because they love their rugby. They're not big on football out here, but it's getting bigger. More and more people starting to follow it.
Interesting.
But yeah, so anyway, I've got some of those guys that come in as well. So yeah, I feel quite blessed that those people do come here, and yeah, they support, and yeah, they're always happy to come back, and yeah, and that sort of lets me know that I'm doing a good job as well.
Yeah, definitely. So when you started, obviously, how did you get people just to get to know about you then? Because clearly it wasn't
All
like this
right,
at the beginning. So that would be interesting because you said you're fully booked out now, but it wasn't like that at the beginning because that's what it's like for
no,
any business to start with. So how did you get
yeah.
to the point where it's like, was it just down to your service, the quality of your haircuts? Like what do you think is the recipe or formula to get to where you are now?
That's a good question. Honestly, I've always been confident in my ability to cut hair and to give a good service. Always, I've never ever doubted that. So, the one major thing that I believe that allowed me to grow was execution. I'd put execution above everything else. I put that down as number one. Marketing wise, I did something they call it guerrilla marketing, which means to market by spending the bare minimum to make the maximum amount of profit. So what I did is because I'm confident in my ability to cut hair and the way that I could market my haircuts and services,
Yeah.
I basically said to my partner, Jess, we're to follow everyone on Instagram as much as we can follow in the South Coast. And while we're following, we're to upload pictures of my haircuts and all the services. And that doesn't cost a penny. All it takes is time. So we basically followed everyone. And while we were doing it, we were just putting content out. Next thing, people started booking in, wanting to get a haircut. And I knew with my ability to cut hair, all I had to do was execute. All I had to do was give one good haircut for me to get another one. And I still follow that philosophy now. I just make sure that everyone's hair is I've given the best to my ability, and basically one haircut leads to another, and that's how I thought of it. And I've just kind of broke it down like that. Just at the bare minimum, all it needs to be is just one good haircut, one good service, and that's it. Don't worry if I'm not busy for the whole day. It's okay. Like, we'll get there. I'm not there yet. It's just a slow process. Just crack on, put your head down, and do your best for everyone. And that's sort of how I've done it. But ultimately, I put down execution as number one. That's me. That's just my opinion.
That's amazing, man. That's amazing. That's really good.
Yeah.
Taking a step back, your mind process of leaving London to Australia, like, what did you have money saved preparing for that? Because I remember you said earlier that you just thought, okay, this is what I want to do, and you couldn't sleep. But like,
Yeah.
what was the prep
All right.
before you left? Because obviously some people can't just get up and just leave. So was there any plan in place, or were you like,
No, bro, fucking real good question again. So I tell you, when I booked it, it cost me about £200,
wow,
which
to
I
get
had
to
already.
Australia?
Yeah, well, that was for the visa,
Ah,
not the tickets. That's why I booked the tickets a week later.
okay.
So at that point, I probably had next to no money, what, £1,000 in my bank, and that was it. Didn't have
Wow.
anything. And I just thought, no, I'm going to do it. By the time I got to Australia, I had about £5,000 in my bank.
Mm.
And I just kind of sat on that and worked and tried to survive. But I learned traveling. One of the biggest rules I ever learned was you don't need a lot of money to travel. You just need balls. And I still believe that to this day, because you can survive. Anyone can survive. It's not impossible to survive, especially in Australia, where it's an English speaking country. I don't know what it's like in a country where they don't speak English, but I'm pretty sure with my ability to cut hair, I'm pretty sure I could
You did all right.
survive and make money.
You did all right in Birmingham. You could understand what we were saying.
Oh, yeah. Oh man, do you know what? I don't think the accent's as like strong as I thought it was when I was younger. Because I'm on this barbering course where I'm learning from this guy called Josh Patel.
Mhm.
He's from Birmingham. He's got exactly the same accent as you, and
Yeah.
I remember watching him, and I'm thinking, no, he doesn't sound just like he's not got a proper Brummy accent. I'm pretty sure I remember it being stronger, but no, it's not
There,
that strong.
there tends to be some variations in Birmingham, I think. There's
Yeah,
you can get like squeaky ones, you can get deeper ones, but I don't know where
yeah,
mine comes in, but I'm told it's not that strong. But hey ho,
yeah.
I'm glad.
No,
I
no,
guess I'm glad it's not. Okay, so you had 5 grand when you got here, and you said that you don't actually need much money just to survive. And then
no.
so places to live and stuff like that. So you got to Australia, places to live, and then
Hostels,
you stayed in hostels.
hostels. Yeah, they're like
Okay, so
$20 a night.
that's like proper surviving, that isn't it? Survival mode.
Yeah, but you meet like-minded people as well.
Okay,
But
interesting.
yeah, so you kind of go on the cheap. You stay in the hostels. You try to find the nice, clean ones as well.
Mm.
And yeah, you just budget in now. So like you say, you're just in survival mode. Like, it's all about surviving, and your abilities and what you're able to do start to come to the forefront. And even the way you socialize comes to the forefront, because you're on your own. You're not with your family. When you live with your family in whichever country it is that you come from, they're there. You don't even know they're there, but they're there. So you kind of feel this sense of protection, like you're
Yeah,
safe, but you don't know that you feel it until you're out of it. You
yeah,
can't go on the other side of the world. You don't know anyone. There's no one there that loves and cares about you the way that they do in your original country.
mm.
So you're a bit more vulnerable, a bit more scared, and yeah, that's how it was as well. I did have my fears. I still do, being out here by myself.
You're not
But
by yourself anymore, are you? You got a loving partner now. You got kids as well.
yeah, yeah, I do. To be fair, I actually do. Yeah,
You
it's
just remembered.
nice. It's nice. Yeah.
How long? What was the timeline between getting to Australia, then you were living in a hostel, and then finding a job? Because I guess that naturally that would be the next thing to do, finding a job so you can live and not
Yeah,
survive
well
just on your savings.
that was Culture Kings.
Yeah. So how long did it take for you to get the job?
Oh, I had that before I came.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Oh, so
Yeah,
you
yeah,
did
no,
have some preparation then, yeah.
yeah, yeah, there was that, but I didn't actually have anywhere to live. I found it when I got here.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. I thought, go on, we'll just go there and figure it out as we go along, and that's
Mhm.
sort of how I played it.
Nice.
But obviously, yeah, I sort of do prepare a bit more
Yeah.
these days, anyways.
Yeah, you have to now,
Yeah,
innit?
yeah, exactly. I've got kids now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You talk about being vulnerable. That's quite important, especially when you take a big decision. You're by yourself.
Yeah,
So did you miss London? Like, what did you miss London when you got here? Homesick or anything
I
like that?
did in the first year. The first year I missed it, and then I decided to come back and live there, and I stayed there for 4 months.
What, you came back to
And
London to
after,
stay for 4 months?
well, I was just going to go back for a couple of weeks and then go back to Australia.
Mm.
But I ended up wanting to stay. I didn't want to go back to Australia. So I stayed for 4 months. And while I was here, I think after 3 months, I really started missing Australia and having regrets coming back. You ever just like, I don't know, with me, I kind of came back, I settled into life again. Everything was back to normal. The hype of me being back has sort of worn off. The novelty wore off.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, when you first come back, it's great. You're meeting everyone and you're having chats and you love it and you miss everyone and everything's going good. And then, yeah, eventually, that wears off and life hits and everything goes back to normal. And then I started having regrets, thinking, what am I doing here again?
Mm.
So then I decided to go back to Australia. I still had 6 months left on my second year. So I came back, and in that 6 months, that's when everything changed.
And what was
That
it
was
that changed?
that was when I met Jess, my partner.
Ah, okay.
We
So
had a
now we're getting
date.
somewhere.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we had a date. We sat down
Yeah.
and we went for spaghetti bolognese.
Oh yeah, as you
Yeah,
do.
spaghetti bolognese. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, bro. Everything just, yeah. After that, I was just, yeah. I met her and I thought, yeah, I think she's the one. Like I just kind of knew straight away.
Oh, it's amazing, man. That's amazing.
Yeah. So
And how has she been like with you with the business? Because I can see on your Instagram post that she's part of the business as well.
she is big. She has a massive part. She's like my behind the scenes. Like without her, this place don't run. Like I've got the execution,
Yeah.
yeah, but behind the scenes, like she's up before me. Usually we go gym together, but then as soon as I come back, she goes, right, you go get showered, get ready.
Yeah.
I'll get all the towels on. I'll get your breakfast ready. I'll sort the kids out. I'll take them to school. I'll
Yeah.
come home. I'll get ready. Then bang. As soon as she comes home from all that, she's then sorting things out, all the behind the scenes stuff, all the marketing, the branding, all the gift
Wow.
packages that we're getting ready for Father's Day. She'll answer all the texts and calls that we get all day for people wanting to book in, and she just gets it all done. And then she'll go and pick the kids up from school and take them
Basically,
to their
all the
after
ad, all
school
the admin stuff,
activities.
all the things that needs to be.
Everything.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, she does everything. And I couldn't credit her enough, honestly. And I do sometimes, and she doesn't think she does that much. See, that's how I
Yeah.
know I've got a good woman.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's definitely a good woman there, mate. That's definitely a good
Mm,
woman there. So,
yeah.
so I guess she would have helped you manage the stress of all getting this together, this whole business, this whole idea onto like because
Yeah,
it's
she came
any
up with
any
the name.
business. Oh, okay. Because any business it is stressful because there is a lot of admin and running around and some like pre-work to do before it goes out there to the world, isn't it?
Yeah. When I first started, it wasn't that stressful because it was quiet, so I had more time.
Yeah,
But the busier it gets, the less time you have, the more stressful it becomes.
yeah.
And that's why I constantly like to read books. I'm always
Oh
reading
yeah.
business. Yeah,
Interesting.
I'm
So
a
what
bit
kind
of
of
a
books?
reader.
That's good because that's me now. I never used to be like 10 years ago, 20 years, 15 years ago. And now it's like
You
I
know
have
what
books
I've learned about
everywhere.
books? Books will give you the answers to life, man. They're so valuable. I'll just show you some of the books I've got.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Right. Or
can
if
I
you just
turn this around?
yes, yeah, you can. You can just. Oh wow. Okay, cool. So if you just read them
This is
out to me,
just.
because I don't know what I'll do is I'll just put like the image of the book in the video when I post this up.
Oh, okay. I guess yeah.
Yeah. So you don't
Yeah.
need to show me. Just to read them out to me. So I
All right.
guess I guess the question is first, when did you start reading books?
I actually started when I met Jess. Not straight away though, but there was, and it was quite convenient or not convenient coincidence because as I met her,
Yeah.
I used to cut this guy's hair in Bondi. He was a very, very well-off man, and he said
Yeah.
to me, "Do you read books?" And I said, "No." And he goes, "Why not?" And I said, "I don't know. I've just never thought about reading books." And he goes to me, "Go and get a book called The Richest Man in Babylon."
Yeah, I've read that book.
And I go, "The Richest Man in Babylon." He goes, "Go and read it, pick it up, go and read it. And when you read it, come and talk to me." So I said, "All right." So I went and got the book. I read it. It took me a lot to understand it because it was written in the words of Shakespeare. It was like that.
Yeah.
But I managed to catch it. And there was a philosophy behind it. And I think that's to sort of, when you're working, is to save your money. And then once you've saved your money, to then only invest in things that you know about, not someone else. And then it gives you examples of failure as well, so you know where not to go wrong. For instance, I'm a barber, so I speak to multiple personalities every day.
Yeah.
And I can have a bricklayer come in here telling me to invest my money in this crypto and that crypto, right? But what that book teaches you is, well, who the fuck is that bricklayer? What the hell does he know? He knows how to lay bricks. He don't know how to invest. Don't listen to the wrong people. Listen to the right people. So that really set me up. But by the time I finished that book, I read it within a week. But by then I had left that job, so I never saw that guy again.
Ah, right.
So that's how that one ended. Yeah. So, but anyway, it set me up to keep reading, and then since then I've just kept reading books and just keep learning, keep growing, keep changing, because life don't stop moving. And I've learned that it never stops. It keeps going. It keeps moving, and we just have to keep going with it. And that's just how it is. And yeah, some people just have more energy than others, and that's the truth. That really is, because the more energy you have, the more you give, the longer you can last, the more success you're going to get. I don't think it's about how smart you are. I think you just need to have a lot of energy and apply yourself.
That's amazing. And then my next question was been, how do you keep motivated? But it sounds like you've just answered that, innit?
Well, you know what, right? Yeah, you're right. And you have to stay motivated, but you need like to put some kind of a system in place to stay motivated as well.
100%.
Because without those systems, you can slip off. So for me, like a very simple system is my vision board that I've got on my shower screen door. So every morning I have a shower, I look at that vision board and I know what I have to do, and I know what the goal is. My partner knows what the goal is as well. She knows, my fiance. So we're both aligned. We know what the task is and what we're trying to achieve, and we're not backing out. We're going for it. This is the direction we're going.
Yeah,
So it's important that we're aligned as well. Because if you're
100%.
not aligned, you'll be thinking about going one way, she's thinking about going another way, and it just will never happen. So every morning when I see that vision board, I know what the job is and I'm motivated because I see it. It's like my guidance right there.
Mm, amazing. That's such
And
a
it
good,
never
yeah.
fails. And so many people have told me, you need a vision board, get a
Yeah,
vision
yeah,
board, you
yeah,
need a
yeah.
vision board.
Yeah.
And I never believed them until I did it and it all made sense. And I said, yeah, I get it now. I get it. It makes perfect sense. Like you cannot lose sight of your goal because our brains never stop working, constantly thinking all the time, right? And the more money you save and the more you grow and the busier you get, if you're not focused, your money's going to go somewhere it shouldn't go. And you'll end up having to start all over again. And that takes a lot of energy.
That's amazing advice, man. That's
It's
amazing advice. You're
very,
right.
very
You're right
important
because
to get
like
it right.
it's like refocuses you every single day in case you get off track, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it has to do. That's its job, which is why people like mentors will always say, get a vision board. And I get it. I never listened to them and I didn't do it, but I'm like, no, I get it now. So if there's one thing that people could do to stay motivated is have a vision board. There was this guy in Australia, and I fucking absolutely love him for this, right? You know what he
Yeah.
did? He ran from Perth to Sydney.
How far is that?
Bro, that is basically running from London to Cyprus.
Oh,
Yeah, he
bloody
basically
hell.
run it, right? But you know what he did to
Yeah.
stay motivated? And I'll never forget this, because that he was running 10 hours a day. It was 100 kilometers a day. So it was about 60 miles he was running every day for over a month.
Wow.
Yeah. He was running like, because it's
And
a 4 hour flight from Sydney to Perth.
bloody hell.
So, and
So
he did that for homeless people. He's got an amazing story. But to motivate him, he did a fuck you board.
so what's a fuck you board then?
Fuck you board is everyone that doubts him. He's going to put them up on that board and say, fuck you, I'm going to do this. Same
Wow.
result, but it works. It's a
Yeah,
board, isn't
yeah,
it, that you have, and it works. Whether it's your
yeah,
vision board or a fuck you board, it doesn't matter.
yeah.
It works.
Wow, that is interesting because like when I started doing my nutritional stuff and my coaching stuff, a lot of people over the years have just put doubts in, "But what's the point of doing it?"
Put them on your fuck you board.
Yeah, I think I might need one, you know. I think I might need one because the people who have doubted me are the ones that kind of do motivate me as well.
Yeah,
Because it's
yeah,
like, well, I know I'm doing something right, and I'm gonna prove it to you.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah. People always want to doubt, but those doubts come from their self-doubt, and they mirror that on
Insecurities.
off onto you. Yeah, but you know,
Mm, yeah,
and
yeah,
that's how I take it. When people do that to me, I just understand that that's their own feelings projecting onto me about themselves. So I don't really take it personally, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
can use you can use it as motivation as well.
Going back to your book, so you only mentioned one book, the Richest Man in Babylon. What other books are
There's
you fond of, or that you loved reading
the,
on your journey?
the second book that really taught me a lot was the richest. No, not the richest. Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Oh, I love that book. I love that book.
Mm,
It's such a good book.
mm. That's a
Such a
good
good
book, isn't
book.
it?
Literally using every
Yeah.
resource that you have and use it
Mm.
and use it and
And you
sell
know,
it.
to this day, I haven't got no liabilities other than the house that I live in. I don't have a car on finance or anything. No matter how busy I've got, that's my like I've got my vision board, I've got my task, and I've got no liabilities. I don't, want to drive a nice car to feel good about myself so people acknowledge me. That's not me anymore.
It
Like I
costs
used
just
to be that young
to buy a
bloke.
car. Sorry, mate. To buy a car, an expensive car, and then
Yeah,
to run it as well is just as expensive, isn't it?
yeah, it is. It's expensive, and like if you can't afford it, or if that's what you want for you, fair enough. Like,
Mm.
have that if that's truly what's going to make you happy. But that's not me. I'm not saying it's wrong to, like, right or wrong to have a car. Everyone's got their own ambitions, but some people's is to have a car. But for me personally, it's not. And when I was a lot younger, yeah, that was me. I was all about my ego. I know what I was like when I was younger, but now I'm the complete opposite, and I won't buy into those liabilities anymore. I'm not like that. So yeah, I like the idea of assets, investing, saving, growing, and only investing in what you know as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And
definitely.
yeah, I'm just
So,
going that way.
Richest
But
Man in
yeah, Rich
Babylon,
Dad, Poor Dad,
Rich
that one
Dad, Poor
taught me a
Dad.
lot.
Yeah.
There was another one that I really, really loved, which is Good Leaders Ask Great Questions.
Okay. And what did you
So
learn from that book?
that book, I took a lot of notes for that book. That was really good. So it's about asking the right questions and how effective you are with the way that you think.
Mhm.
And I don't know, I read that one quite a while ago, but off the top of my head, it's, some people can be quite, what's the word I'm looking for? Some people can be quite emotional.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, being a good leader and asking great, great questions is more about being aware of your blind spots
Ah.
and sort of knowing that you can't know everything. So you're going to ask the right questions and be an
Mhm.
effective leader. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
because we all have blind spots. We can't know everything.
No, we can't.
And some leaders like to act like they do, where they, you know, they sort of give that image of knowing everything.
And as people
But
looking on, like
you,
people who we look up to, we might assume that these people that we love and look up to know everything, but they actually don't.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, and that's what it teaches you. It teaches you sort of to kind of be more aware of yourself. And, you know, yeah, it's been a while since I've read it, but off the top of
Yeah.
my head, that's sort of where I was at with it. I
Nice.
took so much notes down for it.
Wow.
Um,
It's really
but if
cool.
I knew we were going to get into the subject of books, I would have been a
No, no. I mean,
bit more
that's
ready.
why I said when this ain't scripted or anything like that, it's better to just do it this way. It's really cool that you read books and things like that because that's only going to improve you, man.
Yeah, I personally believe that. And I remember working for people still because I was on a sponsorship to get my citizenship out here. And remember reading all these books and then watching how these business owners run their businesses. And I realized they didn't know too much about running a business. And it was like they were pulling their hair out. And I thought, you know what? If they just pick up a book and read, they'd have the answers.
Yeah,
But people don't like reading. No one seems to have time to read because they're too busy working.
yeah, yeah, definitely, definitely. So, Wollongong, is that where you live now? Wollongong, is that what you said?
Yeah, Wollongong.
Wollongong. Okay, so how did you end up there then? Is that when once you met your partner or?
Yeah, so we met in Sydney. She worked for the same company as I did, but at a different branch.
Ah, okay.
And we got talking the night that we met, but only just introduced ourselves because I was meeting everyone. I was still quite new in the country, 2016. This was December. So it was just a normal chat. Nothing really came of it. And that's how we met, followed each other on Instagram, and that was it, really. And then about 3 or 4 months later, we started messaging, but again, nothing really came of it. And obviously, I came back to London. Nothing was ever really going to happen. But then I decided to come back and sent her a message and told her I'm actually coming back to see out my 6 months.
Hmm.
So yeah, she wanted to meet.
Sure. I
It's all
bet
right.
she did, mate. I bet.
Relax. There's a
Oh.
queue. No, I'm joking. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we ended up meeting up, and I took her for dinner. And obviously, she told me she's from Wollongong,
Yeah.
and I still had never come down this way. So
How
yeah, I
different
ended
is
up
it
coming.
from Sydney then?
So Sydney's, like I say, it's like your Barcelona. It's just your city and your beach
Yeah.
vibes, and it's just lots of tourists, backpackers, and
Yeah.
it's just super, super busy, like full of tourists, loads of people there. But Wollongong, it's beautiful, bro. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
Wow.
It's like, so how can I word it? So when you come into Wollongong, the only way in is to drive down the mountain into Wollongong. And when you drive down the mountain,
Yeah.
Wollongong, you see how flat it is, and it's next to the ocean, and it's just in the mountains, it's all green and trees. So it's like all like forest.
Mm-hmm.
Um and Wollongong sits on the escarpment of what they call the Illawarra, and yeah, it's just beautiful. Like because you've
Yeah.
got all the trees and the
Illawarra. That
greenery,
sounds very
you've got
what's this
yeah.
Illawarra? What is that?
Uh, so you know how you've got Catford,
Yeah. Yeah.
and you know it's in the borough of Lewisham.
Correct. Yes.
So Wollongong is in the borough of the Illawarra.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Yeah, because the way you say Illawarra
Yeah.
sounds like something from Avatar or something.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's yeah, that's what it is. So it's like a district, I think. So and Wollongong's just a city. But yeah, so it's beautiful. It's just full of trees, nature. You can do hikes, you can go for bike rides. They recently held a world championship UCI bike ride here as well.
Mhm.
And it was the first time they ever hosted it here. Usually it's in Melbourne, but they absolutely loved Wollongong. We've got a bridge down here called Seacliff Bridge, which is a bridge that sort of runs over the ocean, which is a very world famous bridge. Lots of photographers come every year to get pictures of it.
Wow.
It's an unbelievable place. Like, and I've even noticed that they filmed it in like some movies as well. I can't remember what movies they are, so don't ask. Um, yeah, but no, it's a beautiful space, and when you come down here, it's good, it's friendly, it's safe for the kids. It's just a great place for families to grow up, and I'm very, very thankful to be here. I miss my family and my friends and everyone back at home in the UK, but I know this is what's good for my family.
Yeah.
So I can't see myself leaving anytime soon.
Daftman London, who came up with the name? Did you say your partner came up with the name?
Yeah, fiance, she came up with it, Jess. Yeah, she
So
came up with Dapper Man
what kind
London.
of names were in the hat?
So what we did was, so this is, I like the name Razor Sharp London. I'll just put it out there. All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's my mate's barbershop's name in London.
Ah,
And I was like, I can't take that. As much as I love it, I can't. Like I could because I'm in a different country, but it would be me taking their identity. I need to have my own identity.
yeah.
So then we just basically what we did is we just wrote a bunch of words down associated with men, barbering, and grooming.
Yeah.
And we just put it all in our notes. And yeah, eventually just put Dapper Man together. And she knew that I had to have the word London in there
Yeah.
because in Australia, if they know you're from London, they believe you're a good barber or a good
Wow.
men's hairdresser. That's and the reason why I know that is long before we even come up like with the name. I had people sitting in my chair saying, "No, you're not from here. You're from England." Yeah, from London. Like, oh, you must be a good barber then. So
Mm.
because I heard that a few times, I knew, yeah, that if I put that in the name, that would invoke trust as well. And I still believe to this day, I believe that still works.
Okay, cool, man. That's really cool. So,
Yeah,
if a customer came up to you, never been to
yeah,
Daftman London,
yeah.
how would you describe your business?
You know, when someone comes, I already know they've done their research.
Okay, so they've
I know,
come to you because they've heard about you or they've looked into you.
yeah. So yeah, they'll do that. But for me, my job is to serve people.
Yeah.
My job is not to like I want to give a good haircut. I want to serve people. Does that make like what I'm trying to say is I'm not here and
You're
I'm
not.
busy and I've
Yeah.
got an ego now.
Yeah.
That's not my job. My job is to serve people. And if they come for the first time or the 20th time, my job is to give my absolute best, regardless of when they come. Does that make sense?
Yeah, because I'll give you an example. I remember I had a PT session. It was a very long time ago. I think we had like three or four, five sessions. The first session was like all energetic, but by the time it was like third or fourth, he was yawning on his phone. And I guess
Yeah.
what you're saying is like your one of your goals for your business is to make sure the customer is haircut or whatever service you provide is exactly the same how it was like it's for the first time.
Yeah. And it never changes. It never changes. I'm not like trying to slander anyone, but well, basically in my life, when I was a lot younger, at 25, 26, I just broke into barbering. I was pretty good, getting better.
Yeah.
I could do a great haircut for the first one. Next time they came back, I'd still be kind of good, but not like the first time. And then the more busier I got, the more stressed I got, and I didn't know how to handle it. And it was a lot for me to take on at
Yeah.
25. I still didn't have the mental maturity to handle the talent.
Yeah.
So I'm at a level at 37 years of age. It doesn't matter if it's the first or the 20th. I'm here to serve people and to the best of my ability. And that's it. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, mate, that makes sense.
It's not about me. It's not about my ego. This is about them. And I just want to do my best for them. And barbering down here in Wollongong, it's not particularly great. So if I can be a point of difference
Yeah.
just based on my skill set, then I'll do that.
Yeah, this can only be a good thing, right?
Yeah, and you know, for me to grow as a barber as well, I'm still on barbering courses. I was telling you earlier, and I'm learning
Yeah,
from
yeah.
someone from Birmingham,
Wow. So what made you choose them then?
Josh O'Meara Patel. His name's Barber Josh OP. Phenomenal barber.
Yeah.
He's got no ego, and I'm telling you, the amount of energy he's got. unbelievable.
And he's
He's
busy as well.
unbelievable. Oh, bro, he's not like he's got a shop, yeah, but he's not just in a shop. He's all around the world.
Wow, that is crazy.
He'd
That is
he'd be
crazy.
talking to you saying, "Oh, I was in LA last week, and next week would be in New York, and the week after that would probably be in Morocco." He's that
Wow.
guy. Yeah,
Wow.
and he's online as well. He's probably got maybe what 20,000, 30,000 people subscribed to his courses, maybe more. I don't know. I couldn't give you a number, but he's highly successful. He's a high achiever.
Well, I'll give him a shout out on here and I'll tag him in when I do the snippets of these of this call, yeah.
Yeah.
So what actually got you into barbering then? So like, and I guess what did you do before barbering? And then I guess I wanted to ask like what made you think like, okay, I'm gonna be good at this or I actually enjoy this, I guess.
Yeah. When okay, so before I started cutting hair, I used to be something called what they call a field monitoring officer, right? So that means that I go around people's houses, put them on tag on a home curfew order, and tell them you're not allowed to leave your house till 7 a.m. in the morning. So you know,
I think
it
that was the
was I
last
did it for
time. I think that was the last time you and me saw each other. I think, and when I
yeah,
think
and
you
I
just
did that.
started that job.
Yeah, I did it for 3 years, and honestly, looking back, it taught me a lot. But never again. I'd never do a job like that
I think you
again.
said the money was good, but it's just the people that you dealt with is a bit difficult. Is that what you told me? Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. People are difficult. The money was all right. I mean, the, but looking back, like I wouldn't go back and do that. Not even for what they offer. But
Wow.
it was good experience. But once I left that, I basically had nothing. Ex-girlfriend and me broke up. I don't know if you ever remember me being with an ex-girlfriend.
No.
Um, we were together 10 years all up. We
Wow.
broke up, and my car got repossessed, which I had on finance liability.
Hmm.
That's why I hate liabilities.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I wasn't talking to my mum at the time, so I was actually homeless. I thought I've got nothing to lose. What else am I gonna do? So I decided to go for barbering. And
But why
funnily enough,
barbering though?
actually,
Why barbering?
I don't know, I actually don't know. Just something just said, just I've got to do something.
Okay.
So I just went for it. And back then, when I was learning, I remember I was still hanging around with Manuel quite a lot back then.
Yeah. For guys who don't
And
know
he,
Manuel, he's on my last episode 6.
yeah, and he let me cut his hair a few times to get my experience levels up. He had back then he was obviously with someone else, but he had a brother-in-law called Michael, and
Yeah.
yeah, he was a model for me quite a lot. He supported me a lot as well. So yeah, those guys helped me along the journey in the very very early stages. Um, yeah, but
Manuel's got a lot of hair to
honestly,
play with. Manuel's got a lot of hair.
he does, and
Mate, he's
credit
got no
to him,
forehead. His forehead's about this
he
big.
in credit to him, 37 years old, he's got no grays, not from what I can tell, anyways, and still a full head of hair.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I don't know why barbering. It just came to me. Actually, no, there was a reason. I
Go
totally
on.
forgot. I just remembered. There was one night long before that happened where I decided to be a barber where we was drunk at my auntie's house and I cut my twin brother's hair and I
Yeah.
gave him a fade and it came out good, but I didn't think anything of it. And this lady, my auntie, she was there. She had used to do barbering. She pulled me up and she goes, Tesh, no, like all jokes aside, I think you should be a barber. And I said, why? She goes, I used to do barbering. I worked in the industry for about 4 or 5 years, she said, and I worked with a bunch of other barbers. And what you just produced, they wouldn't even be able to do that. I go, are you just saying that? She goes,
And
no, I'm being serious.
you did that
And
while
I
you were
totally
drunk.
forgot. Hey,
You did that
yeah, I
while you were
totally
drunk.
forgot that. Yeah, while I was drunk, she goes, that was a really good haircut. And I think that's what it must have stayed there. And then that's why I thought it later on.
Mm.
Because when that happened, I became a barber like 2 years later. So it was probably that. It's funny, like you talk, like you ask these questions, you talk, and then you start remembering things.
Yeah, I do these on purpose.
Yeah,
So a shout out to your aunt then. So the one of the main reasons you're doing this thing is because your aunt.
yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. She's the one who planted the seed. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's how that one happened. So I guess that's actually what it is. That's how it came out. So
Amazing.
yeah,
That's cool, man. That's
yeah.
cool. So what's the future looking like then? You don't have to say exactly what your plans are, but what's it looking like for you?
I used to be like that, but then I realized sometimes you have to put yourself on the line.
Okay, accountability.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah. Sometimes you have to put yourself on the line, and I think when you do that, you're a little bit more entitled to do it, or enticed to do it, shall I say?
Mhm.
But right now we've grown the business to where it's at. We're looking to hire someone else.
Yeah.
When it comes to the business, I don't have clear-cut visions. I'm not one of those guys that can see 10 years in the future. Some people are like that. I don't know. For me, I'm just not like that. But right now, for me, the only thing that's going to make me happy is we're close to buying some land and we're going to build our dream home. So that's what we want. We're just focused on having a happy family home life. So we want to build a house, get a swimming pool in there, and take that route there. Yeah. So we've been looking at land. We'll be ready to buy soon, and then
Oh, that's
I
amazing,
think
mate.
by the time the build, this is probably, I reckon, a 3 to 5 year project.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what we're going for. I'm putting it out there. I don't care if it doesn't
Let the
happen in 5 years, then
let
it'll
the
happen in
universe do it,
6 years.
yeah? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's really what will make me happy. As for the business, I'm working in it every day. I'm working on it every day. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. But yeah, still reading the books, still moving, and yeah, still giving life that energy.
Wicked, man. Wicked.
As
All right.
as Josh OP says,
Yeah.
what does he say? He says the energy you put out is the energy that is received.
Mm, definitely. Definitely. Right, cool.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
this is a quick fire round.
Yeah,
Right. So I need quick answers, all right?
go on then.
Ready? Ready? So what three things you cannot live without?
All right, my family, my books, and my phone.
What do you love about Oz?
Australia. What do I love about it?
Yeah, what do you love about Australia?
The weather,
What do you miss from London?
my family and friends, and
What ad
Arsenal. I
what
can't forget Arsenal.
what advice would you give to your younger self? So what advice would you give to your younger self?
Save your money.
If there was a movie based on your life, what would it be called? It doesn't have to be a movie that's already been produced. You could make up a title as well.
Psycho cybernetics.
Psychos, is that something you just made up?
Nah, that's a book.
Oh, what is your favorite naughty treat?
Naughty treat. Well, what kind of naughty are we talking?
Let's keep it food based because
All right,
it's a
cool.
health channel.
I've got a sweet tooth, so I'm gonna say sweets and chocolates.
All right. Anything specific? Is there like a chocolate or sweet that's in Australia that you can't get in London? Or is it just like a
Um,
Snickers bar or something like that? I don't know.
nah. Honestly, it's these custard donuts, Portuguese custard donuts,
Oh,
that we get.
okay, cool. If you could choose to have a superpower, what would it be?
Oh, well, I'd like to fly.
Why is that? Does it see the
I don't
world?
know. There's a sense of freedom in it. Yeah.
Ah, freedom. Ah, okay. Speaking of freedom, what was COVID times like for you when
So
everything
when
was
we
shut
started,
down?
when we first opened, so we Australia, what we believe was we got quite lucky to the rest of the world because we had no lockdown. Everything was normal for the
Oh,
first
was
year.
it? Okay.
Yeah, in 2020, only Melbourne really went through it, but the rest of Australia was fine. And I was still working, everything was good. And then 2021, when I started my business, we went into lockdown in June, and then we were in a permanent lockdown for about not 6 months, I think it was 4 or 5 months.
Yeah.
And we came out in October or no November. So yeah, that was pretty rough. But then we got through that. But I'm still fighting a case for that now, actually, because all the money they gave out during COVID, they're asking for a lot of it back.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, they're telling me I owe them $15,500. So we're navigating our way through that one. That one's quite stressful, but ultimately it is what it is. And when you have
Mm.
problems, you just have to deal with them. regardless, right?
Yeah, definitely. Because in the UK, it was like, here's free money, but you don't pay. You do you pay it back? I can't remember now, actually.
No, you don't. So here you don't, but because I applied for the wrong one, they want all that money back. But I've said to
Ah,
them, well, I've applied for the wrong one, at least offset what I'm owed.
yeah,
And they're saying, no, you owe us. We're not offsetting. And I said, that's very immoral and you're contradicting yourself. You cannot say that because if I have to pay that back, then I basically lost.
yeah,
I'm in a negative. It's not fair. And I was forced to close. So
yeah.
they're sort of refusing to believe that.
Right.
But there you go. So we've got a local MP involved now and he's on our side.
Oh, brilliant. That's really
Lawyers
good.
want too much money. Yeah, they was asking for like £150 just to have a sit down and a chat.
Wow.
Yeah, just
That
stupid. Like
that's
you don't know
no
what they're
guarantee.
gonna say.
That's no guarantee
Nothing.
on it.
Oh, I'm not gonna do that. Yeah, but
Wow.
that's one thing I know with me and Jess. Like we're good problem solvers, and we don't get emotional about it. We just know we have a problem. We have to deal with it. That's it.
Wow. That's a good point,
And
actually. That's a good point. So, let's just touch on that quickly.
yeah,
Keeping a hold of emotions and how do you control your emotions? What I see from around me, from friends, family, and people I just know, emotions has a big thing on your decision making.
yeah. So that's a good question. So the only time and the only thing that will truly make me emotional is when health is involved. That's the problem for me, health, because you cannot control it. But all those other problems that you believe are problems, you can sort of navigate your way and find solutions. And
Yeah.
one golden rule that I learned from a book actually was if you stick with a problem, you will 100% of the time solve it. But if you walk away from that problem, you lose. So the onus is on you.
Yeah. So don't run away from your problems. That's
Don't
good.
run away from it. Just stick with it and you'll resolve it. You'll find a solution.
Wow. That's a good snippet of a clip there of the Instagram
Yeah.
page. Mate, you're gonna be a philosopher soon, not just a barber.
Do you know what? I actually love my philosophy books as well.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. Top three tips for anyone thinking about making a new start.
Honestly, I would say if you can travel at least with one friend, it's a bit easier. Um, the other tip would obviously be just to have some sort of savings. And I think the other one would be to just go and live, be free, be happy, go find yourself. Even if you're scared, it's okay. Accept it, be vulnerable. Don't sit there and think that you need to be high and mighty and tough. You don't have to be. Just be vulnerable to life because there's true power in vulnerability, a lot more than there is in confidence. In fact, confidence comes from vulnerability.
100%, it does. It really does.
Yeah,
It really does. And not
yeah,
many people are aware of that. They think that,
yeah,
I think some people might be, I think being scared, vulnerable, all these things are linked, aren't they?
yeah. If people want to read a book on vulnerability, get one by Brene Brown, The Power of Vulnerability. She is seen as the queen mother of psychology. If you read that book, you'll have a different perspective.
Interesting. I think I might get that book as well. I think I'll invest in that.
Brene Brown, and she's got multiple books. If you go on a TED Talk, she did a TED Talk as well.
Interesting.
So,
Interesting.
yeah.
That's brilliant, man. Just to finish it up, what does health mean to you?
Yeah, health. Do you remember what I said earlier?
Yeah.
When I said the only time I really stress out is when health isn't on the line. It's because you can't control it. And yeah, health is the number one. It comes at top of everything. There's no point you going for anything if the health isn't there. I mean, like, I don't know, just it's important. It's the most important. I don't really know how to word that, you know.
No. Everyone's got a different answer, and I asked the same question. That's what I find really interesting. I find really
You know, I
interesting.
wake up every day and I see my kids, right? Sometimes they fight each other, but they're strong. And I'm like, I'm just so thankful they're healthy. They're strong. Like they can have their little fights here and there, and it's good. I can see their strength, their energy. They're strong. They can play, they can fight, you know. And for me, that's the main thing. We all have energy, right? And you know, some people when they're sick, their energy levels go down and, you know, they can't do things that healthy people can do. So, you know, I've got a brother who's sick. He's got multiple sclerosis and he's had it since he was, I think, 18, 19. He's he's just turned 40, and you know, he still tries to remain positive every day, but every day it deteriorates him that little bit more. And I can see he just can't live that life that a normal, healthy person can live. Without my health, I can't do what I'm doing today. I can't be who I am. So yeah, no, health for me, well and truly, is the number one. Number one. I
I
don't
didn't.
drink. I don't smoke. I go, like I say, I go to the gym. Once I'm done at the gym, I'm here. I'm working, and yeah, I've got a bit of a sweet tooth. Now and then I'll have some cheap like snack, but I try to be healthy.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
used to smoke in England, but I don't smoke anymore. I had a lot of bad habits,
And I think is
but
that down to
I've cleaned up.
liabilities as well? Liabilities. You mentioned liabilities
Yeah,
like purchasing cigarettes and bad
yeah,
habits
like
cost some money, don't
yeah,
they?
yeah, exactly. And you become a prisoner to it as well. So yeah, I've cut it all out. And this is what I say to everyone. Like when the Women's World Cup football was on, people said to me, "Who are you going for, Australia or England?" Because they were playing.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good question,
This is the
actually. Yeah,
women's thing. And I
yeah.
said, you know what? I was born in England, but I was made in Australia. So I'm going for Australia. And that's how it is. I'm a better person in Australia.
Are you saying that because you were in Australia?
I genuinely believe it. I genuinely
Wow,
believe it. I was born in England, but I was made in Australia. I'm a better human, and I add more value to
mate.
people and to
Yeah,
myself.
mate. You're a totally different person. Like me talking to you now, totally different person from what I met you. I
Yeah,
swear. Obviously, we all change and we all grow up and stuff like that. But like the growth that you've
yeah,
had since I don't know over the last couple of years since I last saw you,
yeah,
big change, big change. Um,
yeah.
so
Thank you.
what do you do to wind down then? Like when you want to like recover and stuff like that, because it is stressful running a business. You're gonna be tired, and you've got kids as well, you've got a partner as well, and stuff like that. So what do you
That's
do to wind down?
That's a phenomenal question. So I was speaking with my fiance Jess, right, literally the other day, and I said, we used to be able to wind down on Sundays, but I can't see it anymore because we got to spend time with the kids and take them out and do things. I said, I don't think we get wind down time anymore. I think we just go, go, go. And she goes, yeah, nah, I think you're right. So
It's important, mate.
honestly,
It's important. You need to like
I know.
have some time out as well because obviously having a business, it's the bread and butter. But like, you need to recharge your
Yeah.
batteries as well so you can go again the next day.
Massages are important for me. I have to get massages.
Mhm.
Um, but otherwise, honestly, I try to wind down on a Sunday if I can. I'm off work on a Monday, but usually Monday's spent preparing for the rest of the week. So it's something I'm still working on. I actually haven't got an answer for that one, you know.
Okay.
I had time before, but because I've gotten so busy,
Yeah.
when I'm not working, I'm constantly marketing and branding and
Yeah.
doing other things. So I'm learning to navigate my way, which is when I went back to say as well that I'm actually trying to hire someone else. And I think hiring someone else might allow me to have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it does go that way. Yeah. So at least I can sort of get some time back. But right now I feel like I'm at the peak.
Yeah. That's brilliant, man. That's brilliant. And just to wrap up, where can people find you?
I've got an Instagram, which is Tesh_09. And the reason why the '09 is there is because there's 9 minutes difference between me and my twin brother. So that should help you to remember that.
Yeah.
Or we've got a business Instagram page, Dapperman_London. And we've got a Facebook page, which is Dapperman London. So Dapper space man space London.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's it, I think.
Brilliant, man. Thanks so much for coming on. And I know it's quite late. It's like you look tired as well. It's like 11 o'clock and you're over there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or yeah, like
Yeah.
half 11
Oh,
now.
no,
Nine
thanks.
9 hour difference. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Nah, thanks for having me on. I really appreciate that. And I really wanted to take this opportunity as well because, firstly, just to talk to you, catch up with you, and see how things are. Like, obviously, I know this was more about you asking the questions, but I can see what you're doing as well, and you look like you're really good at asking questions, bro. I think you're going to do amazing as well with your podcast. So that was
Appreciate
nice,
that.
and also it allows me just to kind of reflect on my own life as well, just by answering all these questions, which is something that I don't really do too much of.
Yeah.
So it's just another way of sort of being more a little bit aware of your blind spots, because you kind of know what you don't know by the end, what you was able to answer. Do you get me?
Yeah, one of the new things I've taken upon myself is reflection.
Yeah,
After each day, I'm trying to do it. After each day, I want to reflect just for like 20 minutes, what I've done good, what I've done bad on the day, or not bad,
yeah,
but like where I can learn from, and just make sure I don't do it again.
yeah.
So reflection is a big thing. When I was on holiday, there's a book they had because just like you, I love reading books, and there's one book that I was like, oh, that looks interesting. It's called The Daily Stoic. This book was written by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman, and basically that book it basically has like for the whole year one little quote each day how to be more stoic and just be a better person. And like I opened the book, I kid you not, I opened the book and the first thing it came up was being reflecting on your day.
Mm,
And doing that will
mm.
just make you learn more about what's gone right, what's gone wrong, and how you can be better, and make how to kind of make remind yourself that you don't make the same not miss either mistake or don't forget to do the thing again. So you kind of
How
like
do you how do you reflect your days at the end of a day? Because are you by yourself most of the day, or are you with other people?
I'm by myself most of the time. Even my
Oh,
day job, this is quite isolating at times. But yeah, I just
mm,
reflect on myself, and even if it means looking in the mirror, and if it gets quite bad, if it does get
yeah,
quite bad, just look in the mirror and it's
yeah,
like, what the fuck are you doing? You know what I mean?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, no, I get you. Because obviously, I work with clients every day. Plus, Jess sees me every day. So sometimes at the end of the day, I just sit there like, and she knows if she's got something to say, I need to hear it because I need to be aware of my blind spot, and that's the kind of conversation we can have. So it's like I don't take it as offense, or I don't argue back or bite back. She'll
yeah.
say it, and then I'll sit back and think and reflect on it, and then I'll turn around and say, "Yeah, you're right."
But for me, it's
Yeah,
like I'll have like a list of things I need to get done in the day, and
yeah,
see if I've done all of them. My reflection would be, okay, what needs to be done the next day or the coming week? How do I get towards my goal? I don't have a what do you call it, a vision board yet, but I've made a journal where I just note down everything that I'm thinking about, put it in there, and eventually I will get a vision board. And after talking to you, I'm definitely going to get a vision board or a fucking
yeah. Because as soon as you look at your vision board in the morning, wherever it is you place it, you'll get all the reminders and all the emotions, and you'll just go to work, and you're just programmed out. You can't change it. You can't stop it. It's like this unstoppable force.
yeah.
And I swear by him now. I'm like, wow. And you know what? I did that. That was all for my personal life and a little bit professional, but I'm starting to think maybe I should do one for my business because I don't really have a vision for it. Um, yeah, so I am still thinking about that, but if I do, I'm gonna kind of have my visions there as well, and then maybe I could tie the two in together. But just the one vision board to start with is good enough.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. All right, mate. I didn't hear any Australian twang, so I don't know. Maybe it's because you're speaking to me. You just adjusted your voice just for me. I don't know.
I don't know, right? To be honest with you, like when I'm talking to you, I think I sound a bit nervous as well with my voice.
No, not
Not
at all,
as
mate.
not so confident, but yeah, no, it's all good. I don't care. I'm open. I'm an open book, and I'm glad that like this sort of podcast isn't pre-scripted or premeditated.
No,
Like
not
I
at all.
like the idea of it being as authentic as possible.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. All right, bud.
Yeah.
I'll let you go, and you probably need some kip. But yeah, thanks again for joining me for today. It's really insightful, really good. Like, I think some people might think, like, hold on a sec, this isn't about health. It definitely is because your mental strength to go through, jumping from one country to another, starting a new life. It takes a lot mentally.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
It's yeah, it does definitely have its challenges, but yeah, thanks, bro. I really appreciate that. It was really
All
good
right.
talking to you as well.
Likewise, man.
And
Likewise.
yeah, bro. But hopefully, one day we can do a part 2 to see if how the house project is going.
If you want, yeah. We can talk about what a person goes through to get to that stage and what it's like to do that.
Well, it'd be good for me because then there's accountability on my side, because I know there'd be a podcast in say 2 years, and then you know what I mean, and it's like, right, where are we at? Like, it doesn't have to be built, but we at least need to be on that path.
Yeah. Definitely, mate. Definitely. All right, mate. I've got kids crying in the back. I really gotta go.
Cool.
All right.
I'll let you go. Good.
Take care, mate.
Nice speaking to you, bro. See ya.
Bye, bro. Take care. See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.